allow me to speak. I haven't really prepared a speech. I don't have time. Everyone's swamped, but I got 1,000 things. I'm a no LRT guy. The way it stands on the way the plan that you have right now on King Street does not make sense. It's ill-fated from the beginning, hands down. You have to have a grade 2 math level to look at the facts and figures. I've listened on Cable 14 this morning, all morning, and I'm sitting there listening to these facts, listening to people talk, and they got a lot of good valid points, but there's so many cons, period, hands down. Like, it's ridiculous. And the same problems that happened in Buffalo in 1985, they opened theirs, $500 million cost. It's lost money ever since. Never brought an ounce of economic development to Buffalo. That was reported by CHCH News September 3rd, 2015. Detroit's failed. Detroit, in December of 2016, they have a LRT that circles around the city, runs empty, costs the city over $4 a person US, loses money. They did a referendum in Detroit to add another LRT line. It failed. They want to go for BRT. I'll give you some other examples. Santa Clara, California, costs taxpayers $5.94 per ride. They got to bear the cost to support an LRT. Norfolk, Virginia, $5.68 per ride. This is published in the Virginia pilot. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, cost the taxpayers $5.26 per ride. Every time someone hops on the LRT, it loses money. Hands down. You know, I heard this morning, and I've heard it time and time again, Main Street makes more sense. The A line makes more sense, hands down. Like, I mean, I would run, LRTs are meant to be running along the highway, connecting a major geographic spot like Hamilton to, say, Burlington, or connected to Dundas, or connected to the future airport. Like, you guys have all these building permits issued, all these developers are standing by. I have some friends that have bought property up there near the airport. They're waiting hand over fist to develop this airport. You got this big plan, which I disagree with. I disagree with that too. The former councillor Brian McCaddy was a big opposer of developing all that farmland. Great, beautiful farmland. But you guys want to go ahead and develop that. Build the LRT to support that. Why? Why? Because the ridership right now is on King Street, so you're being bullied by the province to pick King Street, pick King Street. When I was a little boy, I'll tell you a story. I only got 5 minutes. I live in Ward 1, born and raised all my life. I love it. My father came there 52, third generation. Near Lock Street and King Street. There's a public school in the Victoria Park. There's a Catholic school at Christ the King Cathedral. It's closed down. It's now the Nicholas Mancini Center. It's like a Catholic school board site. We used to constantly go through the park or cut through the side streets, and we get bullied, beat up, fights, left, right, and center, all the time from the other students at that public school or whatever. Finally, we got older kids to come in, help us out, stop getting bullied, and it stopped. You're getting bullied by the province. You're getting bullied by Kathleen Wynne. In my neighborhood, we call her, I hope I don't get sued, Winnie the Pooh. Why are we constantly getting bullied by the province? Why are we working with them? Why are we going to them and say, hey, all of you guys together and say, hey, this is what we need. We need the money for this. We'd like to do this. Not just force it down our throats, 11 kilometers of track, and people are telling you, this is the beginning, this is the do-all and end-all. We've got to start here. It's the province. The original deal was Dundas, pick up people at University Plaza, go to Eastgate. Now you're limited to Mac, to the Queenston Traffic Circle. And then some councillors will say, oh, well, I don't even go to Eastgate just to buy underwear once a year. It's hilarious that people will make these comments. You know, like, you're going from a $1 billion project was supposed to be this, and now it's cut down to this. Why hasn't the province said, oh, by the way, we'll give you the extra money we're not going to be using because it's a shorter track now? Why aren't they doing that? Why? Why are they coming along one day and Del Duca comes here and I don't know if McMeekin's here? Oh, by the way, we're canceling the spur line. Why? Give me that $200 million that I'm losing. I asked your fellow staffers that work underneath Paul Johnson, Chris Jacobson and Trevor, pardon my language, I can't pronounce his last name, Herzenberg. They say it's about a $200 million line. I don't know. I talked to the councillor outside, Councillor Whitehead. He says, no, it's only about $120 million. I want that $120 million back. We're not doing the James Street line. Give me that money back. Put it in our coffers. Use it for something else. No, they're holding it back. They've teased you with an A line, B transit route. It's not going to happen. Maybe not now, maybe not in a year, maybe not in 10 years. What are we doing? You're getting bullied by the province to accept something that most people don't want. Period. I can give you hundreds of examples. I'll give you one last thought. In the Calgary Herald, published in February of 2014, 43 deaths since 1981 when they started the Calgary LRT. They got a lot of lines. It's a huge system, probably the most powerful, busiest system. I'll give it that credit. It's built a city. They've doubled in size since they put it probably in. 43 deaths, 1.25 deaths per year since 1981. And we have a transit system. Where's Eric Tuck? I love the guy like a brother. We get about, 25 accidents a year. I don't know if we have any fatalities. Like, who's looking at this part of the game? No? Those two comments, hope they stand in your mind. I want the James Street money. We're not, extend the line to Eastgate.
Dominic, your time is up.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Or?
No, we're fine. Oh, one question, sorry. Councillor Whitehead?
Well, two, because, I mean, there's this love affair with LRT, and yes, LRT works in the right environment, under the right circumstances.
100%.
You named a couple. Charlotte, actually, and I want to identify this, and I'm sure the yes side will like this, is that there was uplift in Charlotte when they put the LRT system in. But again, conditions and so forth. But when Charlotte was asked to put a second LRT system in, they said no. They actually went to a BRT system because the conditions have to be right. So the question I have is, did you know that in Miami, they had 100,000 forecasted ridership after I think it was 19 kilometers. When it came on stream, the ridership was 24,000. Are you aware of that?
No.
Are you aware of LA Green Line? Another fairly extensive line. It was slated to be 100,000 a day. It came in at 10,000 ridership. And now I think they put a media release out recently that are 15,000. They're celebrating that. So I guess the point is there's a love affair about all the success of LRT, but there's so many examples of where it hasn't been successful.
Hopefully, if God bless, I hope it doesn't go through today. I hope you councillors stick true to your game, vote this down, go back to the province collectively and say, look, we need this and this and this. This is what our people want. We're all about business development. We're all about making things better. You hit the nail on the nose. I'll tell you one thing, and I don't mean to point, I'm rude, I'm Italian, hot-headed, hot-blooded, ask Franco, he's the only guy that's worse than me, is we talk with our hands and I'll tell you, Trudeau, I'm not having a love affair with Pierre Trudeau, he made a comment about the Quebecers, I have it here somewhere, it went something to the effect that they act with passion and not with logic. He was talking about the early 1970s about the fact that they wanted to separate, and that's what happens here. We're acting with passion. Fix the bloody HSR, fix it right away. You guys shortcut them. Where's Eric Tuck? They didn't even get 4% on the budget. What's going on? You haven't got the money. I had relatives that came from Rochester in 2011. The Claremont Access is the way it looks now, decrepit, falling apart. And here we are debating time and time again, LRT, and then you got councillors, it's never been about LRT, it's been about business development. Really? All I've been hearing for the last 10 years, the late Bernie Morelli was here, we were talking about LRT. I don't know, is it LRT or business development? Because I could go out to the province and encourage business development tomorrow. It's already happening. Our buddy Varancourt is building another high-rise right behind the federal building. How can that be? So you want to talk about... I'm not going to pay a dime for when this thing goes in place. If it goes in place, it won't go in place. If it goes in place, and the taxpayers got to start bearing the brunt of the stick to care. I don't use transit. Once in a while I do. I'm probably not going to use LRT. I'm not going to you're not going to charge me a dime when that LRT runs all day long and it loses money because the ridership's not there, and we know the ridership's not there today. It's not going to, till 2040, you're going to have one rail car, like my buddy Carol said from Big and Tall, a glorified streetcar, till 2040. And by 2040, this technology will be out of date. You're going to be replacing the car because it's already out of date. A life expectancy of 30, 40 years. If you have any engineering knowledge of engineering life cycle and all that, these things last 30 to 40 years, then it's garbage, it's metal scrap. And not to mention the technology already outdated to begin with. I could go on for days. You can listen to all the arguments you want to listen to. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
God, thank you.
Thank you, Dominic.